Hello and welcome to the show. We're back on Car Mechanics Simulator. Today going to be finishing off the buggy. Off camera I stripped this one down, got all the parts, repaired what I could. I should have enough bits now to go ahead and fix this car up, hopefully. There's probably going to be one bloody bit that we're missing, but with any luck I will have enough bits to get the Manx finished, and yeah, we'll see how well it goes. I am planning on as well. I think somebody commented it in the last video. Also, oh, damn it, we don't have a sway bar. Of course we don't. I am planning on trying to make it look as crazy as possible, in that we're going to get massive tyres onto the car. I'm going to try and make it into a monster buggy, which is why I haven't done the wheels and tyres off camera like I would normally with this stuff. I have done all the suspension because I had a whole heap of these things hanging around. Shock absorbers from the BMW and everything were lying about, so I have repaired as many of those as I can, and we'll have, well, I say repaired as many. We have a complete set ready to go with this. It looks like we might have complete sets of brakes. We should do, because these are all transferable parts. Again, I had an almost complete 850, so we should have, yeah, okay, that's fine. I was going to say we're missing a wheel cap, but no, we won't be, because it'll be on, the back one won't have wheel caps, because that's the driven part of the vehicle, so never mind. Tie rods, we have got enough of. Is it really going to be the sway bar? Let's see how far. Take your bets, audience. How far, at this stage, do we reckon I can get through before I have to buy something for this vehicle? Will it be just the sway bar that we need? Will there be other things? I haven't checked beforehand, so my inventory is a mess again. So I wouldn't. it wouldn't be a good idea to try and search through, try and figure out what parts you have. You'd be there all day trying to guesswork all of that. So yeah, at the moment, can we get away with just the sway bar being the only thing that I am missing? Or are we going to be missing rubber bushings, possibly, from all of this? Although we won't have rubber bushings for the rear, because we don't have a rear cross member on this. So that is something, at least, and we'll have all of these. I think once this is on, oh no, of course we will have double, like I say, we won't have rubber bushings for the rear cross member, of course, but we've got the double wishbone bit, and that has stuff in there as well, so we will have more actually needed for this than we would on the normal car. Fantastic. I don't want sway bar, I want tie rod. That's what we're after. We should have all of these. So that's the front, basically complete, with the exception of the sway bar. Let's go around to the back. I'd say I quite like the purple that that this one has coming. I'm not planning on changing the colour of this anytime soon, unless there are cool liveries. We will have a look just in case there are cool liveries for these. Sometimes the mod vehicles have some really neat liveries. Yeah, you're never sure until you give them a try. We've got exhaust. Oh, I say we've got exhaust. We've only got like exhaust manifold to stick on the car. We won't have very much in the way of exhaust. We won't be gaining much power from all of that, if I remember correctly. The drive axle we're going to have does look like it is just going to be that sway bar. That's the only thing. God damn it. So nearly between the repair everything mod and the donor car, we got everything for this. I mean, the engine, we did buy some parts just for performance sake, but I don't know if we needed to buy much in terms of, we needed to buy some sort of belts and so on from it, because, funnily enough, Junkyard Car, even though these came with more parts than most, Junkyard Car doesn't really have many of the belts still in good condition, and that'll be that suspension side done, and then we've just got to get the wheel hubs and so on over here. This is a pretty quick car actually to rebuild. I think I said it last time, this is one of the simpler, with a fairly straightforward rear suspension layout. There's only a couple of bits to really stick on the vehicle. It is not too bad at all to pull this apart and rebuild it. So this might be one of the quickest rebuilds I think we've done, which is nice. Oh, it's one of the quickest rebuilds we've done to get to this stage. I'm going to faff around with the tyres. Now, I think we've got to put the engine in first before we put the exhaust section in, if I remember rightly. Maybe, we'll see. So, let's go grab the engine off of the stand, take the engine from the crane, stick the engine back into the car. We'll move you to car B. Yeah, the crane goes to the front. It's quirks. That can go back I can go into the vehicle. Right, perfect. So that's installed. We will now have to lift the car up to get the... Oh, do we have to put the exhaust manifold on first? Or do we have to put the... No, we have to put the exhaust section on first. So I think it is just called front exhaust section. And we have got... I can't remember if I bought the manifold or not. Just front exhaust section there. Only just under 8% increase, but... Every little bit of power increase helps. Did I buy? I mean, the exhaust manifold is supposed to be about 3%. So, again, it's a little bit. It's a little bit of power that should hopefully make this okay. Exhaust manifold, we did buy one. We wouldn't have had an exhaust manifold repaired. I think we only had only one of the cars came with one, and that was too wrecked to be usable. As far as junkyard cars go, this thing has not been too bad. Ooh, we need a cover. I haven't worked on a car that's needed a cover for the exhaust manifold for a very, very long time. Cover, I guess. Okay, maybe that wasn't the cleverest thing. There it is, exhaust manifold cover. Yeah, having not worked on one of these i4s for ages, we haven't had to worry about the covers. None of the other cars have them. Only this engine has those. Right. So we don't need sway bar. I don't know if we have sway bar end links. So, okay, we've needed two things on this. We've needed a sway bar B and an exhaust manifold cover. That's got to be a record, I think, for a junkyard car for repairable bits. Although, to be fair, there are still some hangovers from the BMW. So maybe we weren't quite counted as a record. Maybe, not quite. I'm liking the Manx, though. I'm liking the Manx. It's... interesting vehicle to see end up in this game. We can thank Forza for all of these cars now appearing as mod vehicles. A lot of the models for these have come from Horizon 3 and probably from Forza 7 to an extent as well, because they're now on PC. The models can be acquired, shall we say, from the game, which is why we see these nice detailed models. I say fairly straightforwardly. I'm sure. Ooh. That'd be uncomfortable. I'm sure it's not straightforward to get them, but yeah, that's the kind of the basis of this, because all of these bits here are from Car Mechanic Simulator, but I believe the basic models are borrowed from Forza. So we get some interesting vehicles turning up here, which is good. Assembly mode, yeah, because we've got enough bodywork and all of that guff to do. We do have one of those. Do we have... Oh, we don't have any right tail lights. Of course we don't. We have two... How have I managed to break both of the left tail lights we got? Oh, okay, so front end, we can have like a roll hoop on this. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, as far as bodywork goes... Oh, really nothing repairable from the bodywork? Hey! As far as bodywork goes... We haven't got a great assortment of parts, but that's kind of to be expected in many ways. We can have an Austrian buggy, or we could have an Iowa buggy. I think we're going to go for Austrian. We'll have an Austrian buggy this time around. I think we've had an Iowa vehicle before. Can't remember what it was, but that might even be leftovers from the BMW. Do we have a front windscreen? No, we don't. Okay, so let's just go. We need both tail lights. We need the front right headlight. And anything else that the Manx might come with, which we haven't seen yet. Not interior shop, sorry, we want body shop. It's going to take a while to load because there's so many bits to load. There we go. Alright, Manx. We have got... Okay, let's get the tail lights. Left tail light, right tail light, right headlight, front window. Oh! Don't quite know what these front bumper... Are these alternate parts? Okay, well, front end we needed. Let's see what these are. Front bumper B, front end B. Let's just have a look at what all of these different possible options are. So front window can go on. That light can go in there. Front end... What does that do? Ooh! Yes, I like it! That's cool. That's really cool. Normal mode, get rid of that front bumper. So while the picture doesn't quite show up at the moment, there is alternate... Oh, there are custom parts for the Manx. So we can have like a proper... It's going to be a proper off-road spec racing buggy. Get rid of... Oh, no, wait, hold on. We do need that on there. Rear left fender. And then rear bumper... oh, we actually managed to repair... Of course, rear bumpers would be the one bit that I have repaired. There we go. Look at that. Fantastic. And tail lights will go on. Okay, it looks the part. It looks the part. That is for sure. Wheels. Well, I say wheels. Tyres are perhaps the bigger thing. So we have got a fair amount of these well, all of the wheels from the previous one. What we are going to see is just how absurdo-sized tyres I can get. I should have taken these apart. I forgot to do that. Yeah, how absurdo-sized tyres I can get. I'm not necessarily going to go for massive wheels on this one. We're not trying to make it into a donk as such. I'm just trying to make it look a little bit more like a monster truck. Well, monster truck might be a bit generous, quite frankly. So yeah, I mean, we might have to get. Let's go have a look, actually. We might have to get bigger wheels. Tyre shop. Okay, so we want off-road tyres. Off-road tyre. Let's go for the cheap one. Right. We're going to want profile, I think. We want profile to be as high as possible, but we're going to need bigger size wheel. Do we need bigger size wheels? No, so we'll go smaller. Maybe they're going to have like a... So yeah, the bigger the size of the wheel, the smaller the profile can be. There seems like there is a maximum size essentially for the wheels. I don't know 1490 how that's going to pan out. So we'll go 14-inch wheels, seeing as that's what we have on it to begin with. We have 90 profiles, so it should have a huge sidewall. We have 215s for the front, so we'll buy 2 of those. Yes, and then we will do 1490, and then we'll go like 255s for the rear. Yeah, sure, we'll go for 2 of those as well. Hopefully, like, fingers crossed, that'll work. I don't really know how it's going to end up looking. Probably quite stupid, but we will give it a try. Can we get enough wheels? Don't care about the tyres, because we're changing those. We have got wheels so far, all repaired. Take those and repair the rim. Perfect. Now, how stupid is it going to look? That is the question. Right, we want 215. Yeah, let's stick those on. It's going to be decent size. Probably not quite going to be as big as... Yeah. It's not quite going to give the vehicle the ground clearance that I want, but it's going to be something at least. It kind of just about fits in there. And... that one, because I didn't really want to go for sort of the 25-inch wheels, because that will look, it will look too much like a donk rather than an off-road vehicle. That's what I'm thinking with that. So this is perhaps the better way of doing things. So these are the 215s installed. If we go and get the 255s on the go there, let's go take a look at these on this. It should have enough ground clearance to not rub the wheels through the bodywork, maybe, on this. Yes, it does. I mean, it looks okay. I think I'd definitely prefer it that way around rather than going for the giant rims to begin with. And you can balance that one, and oh, it helps if you click on the right part. Install. Perfect. Now this should be pretty good off-road, I would hope. We've got decent off-road tyres. I don't know if like the size of the wheel, size of the tyre makes any difference on the vehicles whatsoever. But theoretically, this should be pretty good off-road. It's going to be fairly powerful. Whoop, hello wall. We've got stuck on the... I do walk into the workshop a lot. That is... Yeah, they would probably have to put like the child safety bubble wrap around all of these pillars, because I think I've walked into just about every single one of them in this workshop. We need to Alex-proof the workshop, I think, by the looks of my wandering around. There's plenty of sharp things to injure yourself on. Like, health and safety would have a field day with the amount I would injure myself in my own workshop. How many hours have I spent in this game and still walking into everything? That will be the last wheel on the vehicle. Have we forgotten anything? Probably, but... oh, battery, of course. That's something else I did notice. Battery and interior we haven't done. Take the battery. I noticed where the battery was off camera when I was stripping down the other one. The battery actually sits under the... Oh, there it is. That's where it goes. Kind of under the... or behind the passenger side, if you like, under the rear seats completely. Let's go and... Oh, I don't actually want to do... I want to assemble... normal mode. We want to interior disassemble. Take the seat out. Hopefully that will be repairable. I think I repaired the seat the other side came with. I'll just repair those because they're there and they're in the way. Right. Interior mode, interior assemble. I think I should have... Ah, good. I do have 2 seats. The Typhoon seats are what I used in this, and we should have... we don't have the Typhoon steering wheel. Wasn't assemblable. Assemblable? Repairable. Well, bugger it. That one there. Well, no, that does not look right. Interior disassembled, steering wheel off. I don't know, I think that might be the BMW wheel, actually. That's probably where that one came from. And interior shop, go away, don't want those. Typhoon steering wheel, yes, relatively expensive steering wheel, but looks the part on these older cars. And that's where we get it. Steering wheel, Typhoon, completed. Right, we need to do the interior sorting, and oh, we haven't got the gearbox in. Ah, that would help. Forgot about gearbox. Got carried away. Gearbox would be a useful bit. Gearbox would be a useful bit. Oh, that's not the detail there. That's the detail kit. Go over to car lifter B and use that equipment. How are we doing in terms of value-wise? 39,000. It's not terrible, but we always knew it wasn't going to be a particularly high-value car. And lift it back up. I hope I managed to repair these bits. Don't actually know. Didn't pay attention. Completely forgot about the gearbox. And clutch release bearing, we have one hanging around. Gearbox, we don't. Bugger. And we will go find a new one of these. So we needed 3 mechanical parts and a few bits of bodywork parts. Gearbox, I forged a normal i4, I believe, for that, or for this. Gearbox i4, perfect. And was there was something else that it needed. It was starter, of course. That will help, and we won't have got one of those, I don't think. So, right, not quite perfect on the old rebuild front. Still some bits. Starter always going to be an arsehole to try and find. Let's face it. And we want to go from... Are we on the engine? No, we were from the bodywork, I think, that got us into there in the first place. Either way, there we go. Starter in. Oil will be needed, and we can do that straightforwardly. Then we are going to be ready to take the Manx for some off-road testing. Don't know what the physics is going to do with this. Kind of curious to see what the physics is going to do with this. Plenty of oil, perfect. Right, car status, vehicle, fuel tank? No? I didn't see where the fuel tank was in this vehicle. Is the fuel tank hidden? Oh god, didn't want to get into it. Like, it's telling me the question mark on the fuel tank, which suggests it might be somewhere. I just don't know where. That's where the fuel tank is. Aha! We've found bits. I was going to work on the assumption that like something else that I've worked on. Was it the Honda that didn't have a fuel tank? And when I didn't see the tank, that's a really awkward. Okay, that's kind of very well hidden because you can't actually open the top bit to see the fuel tank. Aha! Right, fuel tank repaired, fuel pump repaired. We will buy a fuel pump anyway. So we'll buy one. We'll buy one of the tuning shop ones because we get some power out of it. Did I put the upgraded fuel filter on that engine? I assume we must do. I imagine I would have done that last time. Do we have the upgraded fuel filter? Where does the fuel filter even sit on this? Yes, we do. Good. Why have I put the car down? Because you need to have the car up. Because that makes it so much more awkward to try and see. Yeah, with the ghost... With the ghost mode looking through it, unless you're looking in exactly the right place, you don't necessarily notice that there is a spot for a fuel tank. Up there, fuel pump. I've got 3 of the buggers sitting around at the moment. Now we should be completed. Because I'm underneath the car. Oh. So, I mean, I think I would have been clear. Like, there's a decent amount of clearance between me and that for it to not knock me out. There we go, 100%. Fully restored buggy. 45 grand. Yeah, it's not too bad in terms of value by the end of it. But yeah, you're certainly not going to be making millions off of one of these. Let's go to the dyno room and see what it can... I was reckoning... about 250-ish horsepower. I was reckoning for the vehicle by the time I was finished with it. So let's go and run the test. I'm pretty sure I've got just about everything that we can get onto the buggy. I don't know, I mean, theoretically, I guess the wheels, like the friction these wheels would produce would probably have the engine struggle a bit. Or the tyres would produce, I guess is a better way of putting it. 255 horsepower. I was pretty accurate. I was pretty accurate. I feel it might be a little bit less. That's not too bad. I mean, we're about 50% increased. And considering the lack of options we had in terms of the upgrading bits, you know, not being a turbocharged engine and so on. Yeah, 250 horsepower isn't too bad. I mean, it's nothing compared to some of the crazy cars that we have had. but that is not too shabby. Right, off-road testing area. Let's go and take the buggy. It should have no issues. Should being the optimum word. Well, it most definitely looks the part, in fact, of everything, aside from the Willys Jeep. This is by far and away the most suitable vehicle that I have taken around here. Oh, that gets some big airtime. It gets some big airtime and then it bounces around very, very scarily. It does like to fly. I bet we can get up here. Not yet. There is no issues whatsoever climbing over the giant hill. Ooh, no real issues going down the other side either. We will, I have no doubt, be able to launch it across these jumps. It does act a little bit peculiar. Oh, clonked the front there. That's not so good. Yeah, it does act a little bit strange when it comes to climbing over some of these. What are we stuck on? Oh, did we beach the... Oh, we might have got the front sort of subframe stuck on a rock, or there might be invisible rocks. I'm not sure, really. Either way, it's oh god, it's plenty good enough to make it around here. Oh, well, I'm not good enough. I've missed my turning completely. Probably the most capable vehicle I've had around this track. The front does get caught a little bit annoyingly. I need to be a tad more careful across these... kind of rocks and across these problem areas, because that front subframe is what's catching on everything. Where am I going? Where did my course go? I've forgotten my layout again. We were supposed to go down there. I thought I'd made it, and apparently not. Bugger it. I'll remember eventually my little route. I do like this corner when we get it. Right, let's go get ourselves positioned better. We need a little bit more ground clearance for the front. It's the front subframe is what's doing the issues for us. I think, at least. If we get back to this camera angle. Yeah, I think the... Okay, so the actual looking at it, the parts don't quite spawn in correctly when you're test driving the vehicle, which is a little bit strange, but it does look perfectly fine when you're working on it, so I'll forgive it that. Can we actually see? Out of curiosity... right, okay. Because the engine is, of course, very, very exposed, I was just going to have a look at the engine parts. It doesn't show up as having like performance parts on the engine, like visually. I can't. In fact, one of the bits there looks quite rusted, but that might be because it's a solid colour, while the rest of it's kind of shiny. We don't have like the red tint to the parts, which is a little bit of a shame on the engine, but perhaps not a massive surprise in that you're not expected to normally be able to see the engine when you're doing the test drive, because most of the vehicles, you know, when you've completed them, will have bonnets and so on, and you can't open stuff when you're on the test drive. So, yeah, perhaps not so massive surprise, but with this having such an exposed engine, and with the engine being the first thing that you notice because of the way the camera's looking at the vehicle, you kind of notice these things. I mean, yeah, this is pretty good fun for throwing it around the off-road area, as much as the physics are not massively okay with everything. They're not massively happy. Across the rocks we go. Can we do this log wall? Nah, doesn't quite like the approach to the log wall. It gets a little bit stuck on it. Look at the vibration wheels that it's got there. Oh, almost managed to. Oh, we have managed to roll it, kind of, as much as the game would allow it. This should roll without too many issues, let's be honest. Especially with the suspension being a little bit funky. We're gonna go further. Well, we haven't really got any good jumps. The issue being that the vehicle, clips the front on anything that might be a good jump. Are we going to be able to get some traction? We've managed to get worse at climbing the hill. I guess I didn't have as much of a run up. The only good place for jumping the buggy, I think, is off the entrance part. Pretty much. Which was the entrance? Wait, we want to go over this way, don't we? Bounce this direction. Yeah, pretty much the jump down here. Probably the best bet we have at getting some serious airtime from the buggy. Or over here! Woohoo! I wonder if we can clear the... I bet there's an invisible wall around there. I bet we can't clear the fence. Well, we'll give it a try. Fire the buggy at the scenery. Ooh, maybe up there. That looks like a nice place for a jump. Okay, Manx, let's see what you've got. Oh, no, not quite. It's a little bit too bouncy on the way up there, isn't it? Yeah, not quite. Maybe in that corner there. Yeah, the terrain is, funnily enough, ooh, pretty rough. Hello, suspension. Kind of doing some work. I'm not sure if it's the work you were intended to do, but never mind. Oh, okay, invisible wall. That's fun. Should probably stop trying to break the game. It might get unhappy with me. Let's see, can we get any... Well, we can get some good airtime. I don't think we're going to be able to get airtime in the right position. Position? I don't know, who knows. Oh, can we climb? I don't think I've actually tackled this hill from the even steeper side. Go, buggy, go! Yep, it'll do that as well. Manx, pretty good fun. It's pretty good fun. The front end does get caught on stuff, unfortunately, which means it's not quite as good at climbing over stuff as you would like. But 250 horsepower in this thing makes it relatively rapid, good at climbing the giant hill, provided you don't cock things up completely. But yeah, that ground clearance is a little bit of the Achilles heel for this vehicle. But yeah, there we go. That is going to be it for this particular video, for this restoration. Maybe we'll work on the D2 motor next time. Maybe we will go off to auction house and see what other wacky vehicles we can find. Who knows? But I am enjoying the vast selection of mods that we have got on this game. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.